the child's offspring of someone who trained vaguely under Tink for some reason.
No, I've gone for a Vogue Paladin. Like a Vogue
It's
Paladin
one of
split.
Nana's grandchildren.
Could be.
It's more like someone who Junkrat would train, to be honest, because he's a rogue paladin, basically.
I mean,
by the way, we're live.
Still, yeah, that's fine. I'm still toying with the idea of making another artificer for Chris's one.
Another one.
That fits in, yeah, because that ties in with the apocalyptic setting.
Hey, I'm playing essentially a Wood Elf War Dancer from Warhammer, so...
I don't know what that is.
I'm assuming somebody that dances in the woods.
Homicidal elf chick with 2 swords.
Fair.
Same.
And tattoos. That's about it. That's as far as I've gotten so far. She appears to like food because I found a magic item which was just a spice pouch, so I went, I'm having that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, what was it?
Havard's handy spice pouch.
Yeah.
And
I finally got my camera to a good height.
And I'm a Tome Barbarian who didn't take Bear because it's too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I've got in place Rim as a wild magic barbarian because that sounded fun.
I think
Build Soul.
I think I had a NPC play as one of those. Like it was before it came out as a UA. I just made one up, and then it came out. I was like, hell yes, this is a thing, and it was way better than my one.
Because there's a thing called Bolstering Magic that, what was it? For 10 minutes, a creature can roll a d3 whenever making an attack roll ability check and add that number to the d20 roll. Or roll a d3, the creature gains 1 expended spell slot, the level of which equals the number of rolled on or lower.
It doesn't have like you can give people back. Oh, it was like the UA. One of them it had like you can maim yourself to give people their spell slots back or something like that. Like you can take a lot of damage to give people spell slots.
Maim yourself. Have some spell slots.
Yeah. Then you've got your Wild Surge. Whenever you rage,
So fun.
you roll a d8 and there's a list of things that can happen.
What was the freaking Unibeam from Iron Man, by the way, for reference? Like a giant beam of light just shoots out of your chest.
Cool.
We having some background music from as well.
That genuinely might crash me, to be honest.
Yeah,
Because
if you do it on your side, then Bob.
Okay.
My one will just
Get the rhythm going.
My one will
Just,
just put up without music.
Yeah. Kevin MacLeod has a nice, easy sort of slow album. I think it's called Peace or Calm or something like that.
My D&D, by the way, I was doing like I just googled some royalty-free music and just threw it up for my show. And one of the songs on it was almost a Christmas song. And it was really, Bob knows it. It was like, this is a Christmas song. Nearly. It's not quite the same, but it was like for a couple minutes and the playlist was just like, it's really strange Christmas song. Very weird.
Hey, it's not that far.
Have I just lost sound?
This is what everyone looks
No,
like. Yeah,
I was
lost
also
sound.
wondering that.
Yeah.
I think it was just no one was talking for a brief moment.
Yeah.
No, you were talking. I could see your lips moving, but
Me? I wasn't.
yeah.
I was just doing like this.
But yeah, TR, your voice doesn't match your face, basically.
Yeah, no. I was picturing just a really skinny.
None of your voice match your face.
I mean,
Or
I
maybe
wasn't
Bane.
expecting
That's
that.
it.
I was like, I kind of hyper.
I'll be honest, I wasn't picturing a beard. I'll say that much.
No, me either.
It is shorter than it's been for a while. used to be bigger, and the hair used to be gone as well, but I just can't be bothered to shave. Haven't left the house in a while.
I don't think many of us have.
I left.
I'm just home.
I left outside.
Yeah,
I
Tim's
went.
constantly working.
I went
I'm
outside
always
weekend
on it.
before last, and also proved why I shouldn't go
Tim's
outside
a workaholic.
the Friday
Yeah.
before last.
Mm.
I was in a
Yeah.
car crash.
Ooh.
You in a car crash?
A
Yes.
lorry hit us on the M1.
Jeez.
Shouldn't have been driving on the M1.
I wasn't driving.
Yeah.
Mum was.
You shouldn't have
Women
been on the
drive.
M1 in general. M1's shy.
I had to go to LARP. I managed to get to LARP the next day after getting our car wrecked, though, so... We're all fine, for reference. I've said this on my stream before, but we are all fine.
Good.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
humans were hurt.
Yeah, the car, very much. The humans, we're fine.
Just whenever you're ready, Bob. If we're all ready, that is.
You better be, because I'm already live.
Yeah, I'm just typing out campaign notes in the background.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that'll actually work, because this music to put in the background.
I'll try and find something.
I'm currently logged in as Alterra. Yeah.
Camera.
Hey, what's the name of your Twitch?
Fenris Wolfie Bane. I'll post it. I can post it in Discord if you like.
Yeah, I heard like half of that.
Fenris Wolfie Bane.
Yeah.
Can you wait? Okay.
No, it cannot wait. How dare you? There it is. My little LARP character that someone
It's
stylized.
gonna,
and
gonna
everything.
follow by the world of Alterra.
Yay, thank you. Thank you for the follow, World of Alterra.
Did you just create that, Chris?
No, I created that ages ago.
Oh.
This was discussed like about a year ago. When
Yeah,
we
I had
started
it-
streaming stuff.
I've had it set up for when we do start streaming. I've already got all the names and everything on all the channels. I'm pretty sure I even have like a Twitch account and everything. I've already got a Facebook group. We just never use it.
Mhm.
There's quite a lag on your stream.
Yeah, there generally is between like actual Discord and Twitch.
Yeah,
it only just loaded now, and then I looked over and I was moving, and I was like, wait, I'm not moving.
mine, I believe, is set up for a 5-second delay because I don't tend to play games that stream sniping is a problem. But you can set it up to like 30 seconds to a minute if you like. I
Yeah!
Don't.
Sideways!
Oh,
How the hell did you make yourself sideways?
He's on a phone.
Yeah.
turn the phone around.
Yo, that should work.
Rhythm.
And if you right click it and show non-video participants, it'll hide it.
I don't know how.
No, I'm just saying for the two that are streaming.
Ah. This
Oh, that
album
was-
is by Kevin MacLeod, you folks at home, and it's called Reunited.
Because
Enjoy.
we are reunited.
We are reunited. Yeah, there we go.
After,
And it feels, well, pretty good.
yeah, it feels alright.
I mean, for a second,
I mean,
Low
it
to
feels,
middling.
it feels not bad. It feels not bad.
Alright.
There you go.
So, you've got intro sorted out for us, or...
I do, well, near enough
yeah,
as makes no
start up your stream then, Bob.
Alright.
Click the button. Press the
Click.
button.
Push
I
the
will click
button.
I will click the button. And
Game faces.
What does this button do?
clicking the button and making
Game
us
faces.
live. Who needs game faces when we are live?
We've been live for about 12 minutes
Yeah,
as well, but
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
certainly are all alive. You all made it to the end of both campaigns. Who would have thought? Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Alterra!
Yay!
In tonight's Talks episode, Alterra, All Talka, yes, I came up with that myself, we'll be discussing the headquarters of the Mad Capitalist and Killscore Mercenaries campaigns, both of which ended recently. I'm your host and quizmaster for the evening, James Robertson, and joining me this evening, Gnome Cunning, Ben.
Not playing as any characters, which is
As himself, yeah.
That's Ben.
Ben playing as himself.
Fearbog Magic, Bob.
Hi. Hello.
Relentless endurance. It's Neil.
That's accurate.
Hey!
And Grovel Cowenbeg. Yes, it's TR.
I'm gonna just say hi, hello,
Hello, Bar.
hello.
Back with a vengeance. It's Wolfie Bane.
Ow! Hi.
He's now slightly more trusted.
and worship him, for he rules over us all. Yes, it's the creator of the Alterra game setting. Chris Mackenzie is here with everyone.
And I'm already spinning out an entire new setting.
Oh, that feels-
That's our boy. So,
Yeah.
This is the burden of a god.
Yeah,
this is the God's burden. So,
the one above all.
the one above all, and I'm his right hand. So, when we last met everyone, we had just concluded the headquarters of the Mad Capitalist campaign, and a couple of weeks prior to that, on the Friday nights, we had finished Killscore Mercenaries. And so I guess the first sort of question, I did open it up to Twitter and to Facebook and to all my friends. Please write in, send us questions, audience.
Answers on a postcard.
And to be honest, I was overwhelmed by the one question I got.
Hey, I was busy in August,
Do you know
alright?
what's on the postcard?
Yeah, August is busy for me and Jamie.
Yeah, we're allowed.
It was more than I could have hoped for to even get the one
You got
question.
one?
Unfortunately, I already know the answers to everything.
So we're not going to start with
42.
that. We're going to save that for our main course. For
Oh, that's it. Is that the finale?
Yeah. We need people to stick around. We want to do the new stuff
We need
first
the
and then
never-ending
play the
first.
classics. Yeah.
Mhm.
Otherwise, people will just leave after Wonderwall. So I guess the first question I have is for the four of you guys and Wolfie as well, since you did play in headquarters.
Yeah.
What sort of coming at two different campaigns, I guess. One that was much more backstory and character focused and was obviously the epilogues of long-term characters versus maybe not throwaway characters, but certainly ones you created in mind with combat and this high-level stuff in mind. How was it coming at it from like two different angles? Because we played a lot of the times we played twice a week,
Yeah.
and I'm more curious than anything else as to how it felt to either get into the mindset or how it was to play two different campaigns that were in the same world, but sort of juxtaposed. We'll start with Ben.
I mean, Pizzazz was one of my longest running characters. I actually made him back maybe, I want to say about November 19, back in Geek Retreat. And I did point bow with him. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. And made him up. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with him at the time. It wasn't until like a few levels later I decided to put him into the necromancy school and eventually wanting to become a lich. That I'm one of the kind of people that doesn't really write out a backstory. I will make up the backstory on the fly.
You'll just wing it.
Yeah, I'll wing
That's
it.
D&D.
Yeah, like
So DM.
like Chink wasn't really supposed to be Pizzazz's sister at the beginning. Tink originally formed as Pizzazz's brother. But I thought, nah, don't want to do that. I'll make her a girl, make her a tomboy, and all the griminess, the not really washing, just the bluntness of her, that just developed over time, because she originally wasn't like that. She was inquisitive, she was bright, she was happy. And then she got blown up by Yellow Arcanite.
Yeah, and we'll come to questions
That does
on.
tend to put a damper in your day.
Yeah,
Explosion.
we'll come to
Best of them,
questions.
really.
We'll come to a question on Arcanite later, but for those of you who weren't aware, I actually ran a game. It was an Adventurers League game, wasn't it, Ben? With Pizzazz, I think back when he was level 4 or 5.
Something like that, yeah.
In Geek Retreat Edinburgh, which is sadly since closed, but it felt weird for me to see the sort of character journey from. I mean, he was already way into necromancy. He was a weird little dude.
Yeah.
But to go from there to Alterra, it was an interesting sort of arc, I think. What about you, Bob? Because Lanwar was obviously with yourself also since the start of the Alterra sort of journey back. Was that back in Geek Retreat, Chris?
No, Landwar actually came after Geek Retreat. He was a character I made to replace another character that I'd made, which featured a few times as just a sort of runaway gag in the later episodes of Zen, the monk, who
living
was
in the elevator.
living in the elevator,
With
is
Jesse.
dumb as a post, and
The comic book series of that is coming soon. The Many Adventures of Zen and Jesse. Yeah. Viewership, I imagine, will be up and down.
Well done, James.
Thank you.
I'm proud.
I thought you would be. But yeah, Lanwar.
Landwehr became a sort of. I wanted to be the helpful character to the characters that were, because we didn't really have a healer, and I thought I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try and be the healer and actually give us a chance in fights of not dying entirely, and it just
Not fucked.
You hear that, James? Not die entirely.
Plus, he was a druid as well. You don't
Yeah.
usually see many druid healers.
No.
It's the classic role and you never see it because why?
yeah,
You could
and
be a bear.
Yeah.
I like the weird sort of thing that the Dream Druid thing sort of presented of, I can give us the ability to hide whilst we're sleeping, but we don't do the whole sleeping bit, so it just came sort of not very used in games, and eventually
Through people's dreams instead.
yes.
Yeah, that was. We'll come on to favorite episodes later.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones.
But
Invading people's dreams without their consent.
Oh, I was there for that episode. I remember that one.
Oh, you missed a treat.
So
No, I
how
was
did
there. I was there. That was my first
yeah.
cameo.
Oh,
you appeared right at the end?
Yeah,
So how did
fine.
that then compare to maybe not Zane, but certainly Grognar, who was very much the opposite of Lanwar, who was like, heal, stay alive, friends. Grognar was like, you'll die now.
well, Grognar just was. I got the idea from Brom Strong and I just ran with that idea and just went, yeah, I'm gonna make this loud and brash, strong character who was just like always ready to fight and into battle. And
One of the things I loved most about Grognar is that I know you haven't played Final Fantasy XIV, but there's a character in one of the expansions, really major character called Gosetsu, who is just the same fucking character as Grognar, almost down to a T. And it's and for me, I just played it recently. A bunch of my friends got me the game and just went, "You've got to play this." And I went, "Sure, why not?" I got to that, and then you made Grognar, and I went, "Have you played this game?
no,
This is like uncanny."
no,
did
Grognar
they like to
was.
smash people's buildings as well?
Run through doors into stairwells.
Yeah. Grognar
Originally,
was brash.
I've recently gone back to Giravania because I'm like 3/4 of the way through Stormblood. Totally is, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Grognar was just supposed to be a brash character, and obviously because Chris says that most of the Goliaths come from the eviler sort of part of the continent, I just went with got the ability to have him not come from Alterra originally, so he just was that kind of brash and didn't know everything and didn't know the Goliaths were in bad because he was a knight.
Yeah.
So to clarify on that, because it wasn't actually Goliaths come from an evil part of the world, it's that knights generally, as like a title or a status, can only really be found in Luminor, a continent known for its human light worshipping empire that is pretty racist because it's a classical setting for Arthurian lords and ladies,
Britannia.
like sort of setting.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they view anything that is tinged by either giants, primordials, or anything to do with the eldritch beings or anything like that as tinged by darkness.
Yeah.
And because you want to be a knight, you wouldn't be able to be a Goliath knight from that place, and there wasn't really Goliaths. There wasn't really anywhere else in the world where Goliaths had like a knighthood or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up running with the idea of you just being from outside Alterra, because we have had a number of characters before in different campaigns who have fallen through either portals or been somehow managed to get into Alterra, or they've done an Ikasai opening where they've died and have been reborn into Alterra because it needs some new heroes, because it's constantly under threat. So yeah, it's not like Goliaths are evil or anything. It's just that the only place that has knighthoods would consider Goliath evil.
Yeah, that's what happened with Tink and Pizzazz, because they are from Faerun.
Yeah. So is Blackstar before she was reincarnated. Fun fact as well, for Wolfie, your character Leon was actually from Luminor. I had that in mind when I sort of developed that opening scene of the final episode of you growing up and being forced away, a la Frankenstein's monster sort of thing.
That makes sense.
Because because you were an abomination, you were half-bloods, so you had to leave.
Half orc, half elf.
I believe the technical phrase is dirty half-bloods.
Mudblood.
Dirty fucking mudbloods. Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grognar
I kept on picking the knight class and not having a real good reason for it behind, because Zen was technically a knight as well.
Yeah, it's just that you forgot.
I was like, wait a minute, I forgot he's a knight. That's why he's got the fancy ring.
That's why he's got a big signet ring on his finger.
No, it's just
That leaves
brass
an impression
knuckles.
on everyone he punches.
It's just brass knuckles. It's just really fancy.
And that was also the reason there was the cat companion, because I thought that was a cool way to make the cat companion of leopard print.
I loved
thong.
Favorite character of the campaign.
I loved playing that character because I just decided to do cat noises and I got taught, and I essentially just no one contradicted me when I said this is what he's doing. It was
It
great.
was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. When I joined, and because I didn't know what was going on when I came in to guest on the episodes of Kill Score, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know. I thought Bob was playing a little laugh track or a little meow thing, because it was the same every single time. I thought it was going, yes, leopard, something like that. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
It was me
to be
the whole
honest.
time.
No idea.
I technically could do something like that because I've
get a
got
soundboard up, yeah.
I've got a stream deck, so I could
Yeah.
load things.
There's an
in
afternoon with Wolfie for you then. Passionate meow.
Passion. A bit more lusty.
Speaking of passionate meows, TR, you have played quite possibly the two, certainly the zaniest. Your character building has been, like, every time I've played with you, it's been incredibly
You remember
weird.
You remember his
but
wishes.
ultimately, you remember your characters. a little 2 foot tall green kobold monk who worships a guy who owns a gym. A 100 and
Is that only because it's your character you worship
No,
that you really like that one?
It was pretty good.
It's
Black
the
is funny regardless.
yeah, it's the juxtaposition between
It's-
little evil, classically evil kobold thing, divinely punching things. I think you punched someone for 50 points of damage and it wasn't even a crit.
It was
Something
me!
like that. yeah, it would have been.
It was good.
Yeah, but to go from that to
Sweet little Nana.
yeah,
muffins.
like
my idea was
150 odd year old ancient
Fairy
little
godmother.
fairy, yeah. And then from that again to this, like I know we're not going to be talking about your
Wushu
one shot, Wilfie, but this weird guy obsessed with robots,
With
like
robot
every
maids.
single every single character.
Don't
There
also
is
forget
something.
he's Tabaxi as well, though.
Hey, piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
Piece of puzzle.
piece
Oh,
of the
yeah,
puzzle as
piece.
well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All really weird and wacky and wonderful characters, and everything that Alterra is all about, really. How do you? We'll approach how we go about creating characters and what we think, like, how we do that. But how was it playing two very different characters in two very different campaigns for you?
Well, for me, none of them actually have backstories until we're actually playing.
The Chris
I have-
Mackenzie school of creating characters.
They have certain traits, and that's what you lean into. Like,
Mhm.
Nana is a classic, like, Italian grandma. Like, looks after the kids, but underneath there's a rod of iron that she will cripple people if they get in her way.
Beat people over the head with.
Like-
You'll get me a Switch.
She reminded me of Nanny from Discworld.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
Now that you mention
just-
that.
Cheerful, and yet would absolutely kill you at the slightest sign of
Yeah.
trouble.
Is the scariest member of the party if mad,
Mm.
despite all the rest of us.
All the rest of the 8 foot tall people with fucking rocket swords. This little lady in the middle. Is like, and I killed them all.
The heart and soul of the group, but scary when you mess with her.
Mm.
Yeah, don't mess with the Nana.
Well, Glack, it was. The idea was like, what if he just focused on a character that somebody had previously played? Well, Bragg is, like a big enough character that it would be. Somebody would eventually like latch onto them. So why not this little guy? And then just make him ignore him whenever they had the scene together. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
it's not him. It's fine.
Yeah.
Move on.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
And I
cool.
was just like a pocket chicken just came out of nowhere as
Yeah.
well. Which is like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just something.
I was intrigued by the concept of like the one person. No, pocket chicken. Yeah. No, it was more because pocket bacon is canonically a thing. No, it was more the thought of if one person believes hard enough, they can gain their power from this guy. Because you were part cleric as well, and
Yes,
the
like, my
idea behind
levels.
that, yeah, the idea behind that was you sort of siphoned off some of the power from Bragg, which was intriguing in a way because it's how I imagine a lot of gods or a lot of archfey in Chris's world as well sort of gain their power is by people praying to them enough they become powerful enough, and it's how a lot of D&D. I think Mask in Forgotten Realms and a few others.
I think it's a
Game
Dame
gods.
Cratchit thing as well. Like,
Yeah, there is actually a
small
race of
gods.
creatures that will believe
fishmen.
things hard enough. Yeah, the fishmen.
It's the Kuatoa.
Kotor,
Yeah,
that was
Kotor.
it. I can't remember what the name was. The weird insane
Yeah,
fish.
and
Jeff.
they can literally will a god into being
Yeah.
just by believing. But
They
yeah,
believe-
it's like small gods from Discord again.
Yeah.
What was it?
like a
They...
formative book from the youth.
Gotta
They-
play volleyball with the Krakatoa.
Well, it's,
Yeah.
it's like how in Discworld there was a particular god that was literally created by people running over animals and people just screaming, "God, oh God, what was that I hit?" And that spawned. Enough people said it that it spawned a god. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The god of roadkill.
It's pretty much the goddess of squashed animals. That was it.
Speaking of squashed animals, Neil, we We couldn't do that loop with it. Yeah. So speaking of killing gods and worshipping gods and squashed animals, you played in Headquarters the kill stealing, pretty much serial killing psychopath. Is how we
serial
describe
killer.
you.
I mean, there's a bold killer all the way through. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
he just murders things in his dreams.
If we trace the path of your life, I'm sure
What are
it began.
dreams?
I'm sure it began with killing small animals for fun.
I mean, if we
those
had
look back at
animals.
all the
You guys
fights, I'm pretty
started
sure,
small.
like, Dion killed like 50% of them.
Oh,
the final
yeah.
blow.
I don't want to go back and watch them all again just for that.
Kill count.
We
Someone
need-
do that. Some fan
Yeah.
out there, spend your time, waste it completely, and do a kill count.
Yeah.
We expect it by next week.
Yeah, we need our own what is
Crit
it,
roll stats.
Yeah.
Kill
I
character.
demand it.
Nope.
Yeah, we can't possibly.
He killed my
Um,
pet.
He did, didn't he? Although I think TR, I think TR might honestly have more kills than you, if possible, or certainly more.
Never the important ones.
Never
Dion
the.
definitely
boss
did,
skill.
like the most damage out of
Yeah.
like, the majority of the characters.
Mhm.
But
But Neil, you played. I forget who it was you played. It wasn't Rusty, was it?
He
Or was
played the
that-
cockroach.
No,
he
that's
played
Dan.
Yeah,
Millig,
played
the
Millig.
cockroach.
Millig. That's who it was.
Millig the
yeah.
roach.
Millig Hammerfist.
Millig Hammerfist.
More
So you
arrows
went
in him
from
than
playing-
porcupine.
Millig the Roach.
So you went from playing a one character killed everything he saw with a bow to another character who killed everything he saw but with an axe.
Well, no,
And
so
got swallowed
Hammer.
a lot.
It was a hammer. It was
The-
a dwarven
A hammer.
throw hammer.
Oh,
the arrows just went.
He basically had Mjolnir.
The arrows just went the other
Yeah.
way. With Dion, he shot everything. With Millig, he just got shot a shitload. He had like
Yeah.
800 arrows in one fight hit him, and he still carried on.
yeah. How was that for you? Because I'm aware that at the start, especially at the start of your arc and at the start of Headquarters as a whole, you seemed maybe not as confident as certainly Ben or TR were at the
Oh yeah, I
roleplay
hadn't
element.
really played it. I played Hero Quest a
Good
little
game.
bit as a kid,
Good game.
but the creation of Dion was only supposed to be for a one shot.
Interesting.
That's how it
Ge-
happened.
At Geek Retreat,
Mhm.
Bob got me going there because he'd started going to D&D sessions there before me, and went in there one Tuesday, and Kate DM for that session, she never came in. So as Chris has his campaigns for like drop-ins, and people like stay in the campaign if they like, it was easy for Chris to work Dion in. So I had no real direction for him. So it was
Mhm.
supposed to be a one shot, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, Kate just never came back.
Yeah. It was left at an even weirder part for us both because
Yeah,
literally it's both his elf character and my tiefling who's becoming a werewolf at that point and gets shot by him with a non-magical bow.
Mm.
So that was the cliffhanger we were left on, and we never got to continue it because unfortunately Kate didn't come back. But
I like to imagine he was mauled to death by the werewolf,
Or
and then he came
no,
back
the
via
werewolf was
Isekai.
running away.
no, he
And
he
the-
fired
okay.
a normal bow at it, and then the fact that someone
just
would
pinged
fire
off.
a non-magical bow at a werewolf ended the universe in sheer stupidity.
The gods said, "You know what? Let's bring him here to Alterra, where everything requires magical weapons to kill."
yeah, well, the tiefling didn't come with.
No,
Luckily,
Yeah.
magical weapons are everywhere to be found.
yeah,
They're
it's
disposable.
ridiculous. You
Just
can't move for tripping over just random magical +3 greatswords lying in the ground.
Even more so in Geddon.
Look, the normal cutlery in Geddon that you buy from a pound shop is +1 equipment. That's Geddon's really high magic. They got casually abducted by one of the most powerful beings in my universe, because I couldn't be asked to write up like why we were having like a non 100% canon session. So I just went, you three abducted by the dragon of dreams. You're in a dream for the day. Fuck it. Let's do this shit.
And what drew out Milik then, Neil?
Yeah. Because obviously Dion was created as a one-shot throwaway character, but came back for so many levels. How did you like? I imagine you
he
would
had no
approached-
real direction until he helped Lanwar and Willow and got that bow. Then he
Yeah,
had a bit more direction to take him in.
the triggering point for my epilogues. Yes, yes, I remember it
I
well.
got the bow from Chris. Got the choice whether I want it to be against constructs or celestials. I figured it's more likely counter celestials than constructs.
Mhm.
So I gave it a bit more direction and started stealing kills.
Mm.
Mhm.
You can't steal what's always yours, Neil. But how did you approach Milig? It would have been a different way, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, somebody said what I couldn't be,
Half-orc.
not mentioning any names. Somebody said I couldn't be a half-orc ranger or a tiefling rogue.
Oh yeah, because you were a Tiefling rogue as well, weren't you?
Yeah, sticks.
Yeah.
Right, these.
But yeah, I mean, I've always liked fantasy films, like Conan and all those kind of films. He-Man. So Barbarian sounds good.
Love Barbarian.
So I'd look at different kinds. Got a bit of help from everybody of what kind they go for. Like, I was working with Bob at the time, so he was just able to explain a lot of how what kind of barbarian to go for, like the totem path. Like half resistant to everything but psychic damage.
Yeah.
And take a magic item that gives resistance to psychic damage.
Yeah. It's like that'll do.
Which
And-
developed into the cockroach version.
Thorough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I have another
followed by a
character.
big mechanical T-Rex.
Yeah,
Followed it,
that's
and then you stayed in it after it chucked everyone else out.
Oh,
that's
Safest place for me.
Yeah, it
that
was.
seems to be
Yeah,
a
you're not wrong. Yeah.
I love that Neil's character's got this just defining trait of
Roach.
kill stealer, then the one that won't die. It's just so funny and so nice.
Well, you all, I think everyone was eaten at some point in one of the two campaigns. It's not a D&D campaign unless you're either stuck behind a door, stumped by a chair, or eaten
I
by
also-
something bigger than you.
I think I force-fed Grognar to the ooze as well. I think I force-fed a few people to monsters by throwing them because I was the strongest party member. Fairly sure that happened a couple times.
I mean, we
Grog-
definitely
Yeah,
threw,
you did that with Milig.
And
Yeah.
Milig.
Grognar just
Him a
threw
few times.
we threw a construct into the users as well at one point.
Oh, yeah,
Grognar
threw
just
the-
hated
threw the
things
angel in,
running.
didn't I?
Yeah, the what was that? The
He was the foreman,
The
the
foreman.
Nawari foreman, who
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to explode. So you threw him into the radiant absorbing ooze to drain his batteries before he could.
It worked, and I nat 20'd the bluff check to get the manager not to murder me for it.
You know.
Somehow.
I love how I
And you had
tank.
Grognar eating corpses
I,
at
Yeah.
people.
Grognar
Oh,
just had Grognar just
I
had
have no
this thing
weapon.
of
Oh look, a corpse.
yeah.
Yeet.
proficiency in random shit.
Yeah.
You can do a
A
table.
necromancer
What's
would see
closest?
a necromancer would see something to bring back. Grognar sees improvised weapon.
You got
Grognar
proficiency.
just
Because there was no damn tables left for him to throw.
Yeah, you threw every
Yeah.
bit of furniture at the person who was running away, so you just started on bodies.
Yeah, because
Grog-
you didn't have any range, did you?
Yeah, Grognar
Yeah,
just hated people running from him and just. I had a bow. I just never used it because I was. I had a hand bow.
No,
Had a bow the whole
no,
time?
here's the thing. This is what
I had to
happened.
like.
Why is
I had
this
like.
the first we're hearing
I
of it?
remember In
I had a light
session
crossbow.
1, he fired the light crossbow, nat 1'd it, shot something, it broke or something, like it snapped in his hand. It was
Yeah.
something just cataclysmic happened. He went, sod this, and threw the bow at him.
Yeah, because
I was
this
like,
doesn't
Chris,
work.
can I throw this?
Can I throw that? Can I
Like-
throw this? Can I throw the dead
Yeah,
body at
sure.
it?
Yeah,
'Cause
sure, you got the
Make
strength.
this check.
Grognar didn't like things running from him, so everything that ran was instantly a coward and had to be either knocked down or stopped in its tracks. That's why he hated
Yes.
the
Like
The
the,
hunt.
cane, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
forgot
mean-
about the Kendall!
Oh, Kendall just been
That was just because one of yous who was
I
it who
used me!
convinced Yeah, you convinced me it was taking the piss out of me. And I just went
I mean,
It
No!
just
we all-
wanted to be a
before
good
we
host.
eventually started doing that. It was just like, oh, Grognar, he called you weak.
Yeah, I looked.
Yeah.
What? No!
Rusty and
What?
Lorcan were just like, pretty much practically taking bets behind the scenes. Like, you think we can get him to do this shit? Yeah.
It was so funny, just yeet. Anything
As-
I c-
Yeah, as someone who came into the into Killscore as 3 different characters in a sort of, what was it? No, it was 4, wasn't it?
You had Red,
Trident
Red,
Dude.
Black Star.
Cyrus, Arcturus, Blackstar, and Red.
Oh, you
right?
had Purse.
Yeah.
Started with
Purse.
Purse.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
trying.
yeah.
I think for me it was interesting to see certainly the character relationships for a party that were designed from the ground up to be mercenaries and to be in this high level combats all the time, more than RP and more than exploration, the other 2 pillars. It was interesting for me to try and wheedle out, as I'm wont to do, both as a GM and as a player, wheedle out the role play moments and the interactive moments, like the character relationships between Lorcan and Grognar especially, and between like obviously Arcturus and Nana Muffins, because they're older and they're married and have kids and whatnot. It was quite interesting for me to come in and see how those relationships were developing in terms of the length of the campaign and interpersonally with new people. So that was quite fun for me. So thank you for that. But coming into it as different characters throughout a campaign, it's got to be different than coming in in the very final arc of the final prologue, the final epilogue rather, of the end of the campaign, when everything else has happened, and this is rather unsettling music for it. But
It's perfect!
Bob.
He's back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what that must have been, because I remember because we were playing in Killscore, the 2 of us, and I think Bob mentioned to me that you were interested in playing possibly a guest star or a recurring character on Headquarters.
Yeah.
And then we sort of came up with the idea together of, oh no, wait, hold on. What if they're a friend that we didn't know about all this time? Oh no, wait, what if they're an enemy masquerading as a friend?
Yeah, you literally like you took me aside, like it was like, oh, I've got a cool idea for it. I went, sure. And he went, let's go to another chat and just discuss it. He went, what if
Yeah.
you're a baddie? I was like, hell yeah.
In fairness, you were up for it right from the off. And
Yeah.
man, I genuinely didn't know if any of the rest of you suspected anything. I
No.
think Bob's reaction after the fact of calling you, all the names under the sun.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of grief for that at the LARP weekend, because it was literally
Yeah.
The reveal.
that Tuesday they found out I was evil, and then we went to LARP and I went, so
The one place I can hit him with a...
yeah, I can actually get assaulted there, and it's fine.
The problem is I couldn't assault him too much because he plays the character who's my commander.
I play your direct superior and a guy who can literally rip you in half with one hand.
Yes.
So
3 hits and he's downed me.
yep. And 11
But-
hits, and I'm laughing at you.
I mean, as a player, I was a bit iffy about Leon, because it was
Interesting.
a like you say, it was someone that we'd technically never met, who was meant to be our friend. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, but playing as Pizzazz, I went with it because that was the situation. His memories have been fucked around with, and
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
We do know this person.
it's entirely possible that we did know Leon, or the
Leon.
party did know Leon, and the mind flayers, or at the time we didn't really know. No, we did know it was mind flayers.
You thought it was Junkrat that had been
Yeah.
who was the main enemy, and I'm like, oh, okay,
I-
interesting.
You were saying, because that's the brief I got, was they started to like have some suspicions of Junkrat, and you were thankfully letting me like have a bit of free reign with manipulating the vision, so I was causing all sorts of mayhem for you guys that was just appearing like Junkrat. I was saying just have Junkrat's eye just over there, just in the little background, just flash up for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, this was in the Dreamscape episode. Again, still one of my favorite episodes.
It was a fun one.
But yeah, so actually, might be difficult to cut down, but in either campaign, I know I definitely had favorite moments in kill score. I think the episode with Arcturus, or one of the ones I was in with Arcturus, is probably my favorite for all the character interaction and backstory stuff, backstory reasons. And I think the Dreamscape episode. But there were a couple in Pizzazz's arc that were really fun as well. Favorite moment, if anyone can pick favorite moment from either campaign or favorite episode from either campaign.
I've got one for kill score, as hilarious as it is. It's between 1 and 2 for kill score for me. Hilarious. It's got the final episode was awesome. I freaking loved the final episode. Just the cataclysm. Honestly, I also just had a ton of fun just having a mental debate with that godly being that
How did
literally
you
at
know
one
you're a
point.
god?
It's like, what's your reason for living? I fucking hate you. What?
How do I compute this? It does not compute.
It's like, I genuinely believe
Cut your
you'll have
leg
more.
off and see if you're a god.
He's like, I genuinely believe that if you die, you'll have more people worship you. He couldn't comprehend it, but I was telling the truth because he believed that no one would ever worship him regardless.
As a viewer, that was
I'm
fun
dead.
to
How can
watch.
people worship me?
Yeah, he killed me and
They don't worship
revived
me
me
while
as
I'm
well, which was
alive.
amazing. He's
Yeah,
like, do you
that
worship me
moment-
now?
He
Maybe.
killed you and then revivified you. That was I was deceased. I was gone.
So that was
Hilarious.
So that was one of my favourites. And the other one of my favourites would be the random filler episode we did in the Tower of Jack Malum. That was
Illusionist power.
That was obscene. Grognar smashing through the door and staircase as Rusty
door
dispelled it. Lorcan discovering he had an intense hatred of doors, and I'm not sure why, but I ran with it. That freaking wall! The wall! The main cafe, I loved the lot of it. It was
amazing.
the freaking your character was like a cat girl. I was Toru from Dragon Maid for about an hour. It was great. I love
Like
fuck around.
Stonework on this wall.
When was that?
Beautiful.
That
Were you-
was
You weren't in that one.
It was two
James.
people weren't here. I think Nana Muffins and you weren't here.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I watched it on a bus.
Yeah.
And it was
It
like,
was-
what?
That was also the first one we actually recorded for the Kill Score Mercenaries.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
episode 9.5. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it was
that
that,
one.
yeah.
I've seen them all apart from that one. I'll need to go back and
That
listen.
one
Yeah.
was
Oh, that was
obscene.
funny.
Is the best
Yeah.
description for it.
Because it was literally to get my next
Legendary book.
and it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
ran like
It devolved.
Now, Chris, did Malum trick them as well into jettisoning important documents into the astral plane, like
Oh, it
he did
wasn't
with
actually
Blackstar?
It wasn't actually
He
Jack
wasn't
Malum.
there. It was.
No, he was a.
It was a Jack
It was
Malum
his
fan.
number one fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you're
his.
right.
It was his fanboy.
Yeah.
yeah. Reacher-
It was a, I would say a protege, but
President of the fan club.
Malum despises the guy because he hates being worshipped.
We figured that out when the war
yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
The pillow thing.
Oh yeah, I got a body
yeah.
pillow.
Loken came away with that with like a Jack Malum body pillow.
I got like 2 body pillows, a fanfic, an iPad, a
This
random
is what happens
fork.
when the players ask to find stuff, and you're just like, well, that's the worst that could happen.
I looted the room and
You can find stains on a
Yeah.
body pillow.
Is that the body
That's the
pillow?
worst that can happen.
that's that body
Yeah.
pillow. That's where I found it
The
all.
whole, yeah,
The,
the whole
one that you
like,
gave to
weeb
Black
thing.
Star?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
and the fanfic
The whole-
as well. All of that.
yeah, the whole weeb like thing that was just brought up on the fly because we thought he sounded like a weeb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I based his voice on the on like the geeky lakeside mage from
Major Mirror Lake from Log Horizon.
from Lock Horizon.
That was it.
So I was trying to get that kind of like nasaliness to his voice.
You nailed it.
I do
And he,
love
does, he
the
comes up as really, especially in the like abridged series where he
Yeah.
definitely played up like that.
I love that it was 2 failed checks on a wall that convinced me and Neil to look at this wall, and then later convinced Chris as the actual fanboy to come look at it as
Yeah,
well.
it was-
and it turned.
The
They were
You
one
were so
Bees.
And
convinced.
obviously
they were
because
so convinced that
the
We were so convinced there was something
even
there.
even
There's
because
something in this wall.
because Lorcan had been teleported. I don't remember what I did. I like tried to stab the guy or melted something. I did
No,
something.
you tried to break the door. You tried to smash the door. It teleported you away.
Yeah, then you went.
Oh, I smashed the other door. That was it. Yeah.
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 And you was teleported in front of a screen.
And which
Yeah.
I melted because I was like hypnotized to it,
Yeah, you.
and I
you,
couldn't do anything. But I breath weaponed it.
After watching the animated and voice acted by this weeb wizard,
Jack
the
Malum.
Chronicles of Jack Malum.
Yeah, and I breath weaponed it because Locum was a red dragonborn, and I went, well, that's weird. I'm gonna loot this place. And
No,
then
you didn't even just breath weapon it. You couldn't look away. So your clever player idea was, okay, well let's just not look away. Let's take the TV with
I
me.
did.
So you broke it off the wall. Actually, I don't think you broke the wall because I'm pretty sure it's a hovering Arcanite
I
screen.
just took it with.
And you just took it. You just took it with you, looking at it the entire time until eventually you needed to get through a door. So you just breathed on the door and the screen.
Melted a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just
Ru-
love how
Russ-
Mel
yeah.
got a new resistant out of that episode.
Wasps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel became resistant to wasps.
A classic Jack Malum curse, as James will potentially remember, from Ty's water bottle would always have a wasp in it.
Yeah, I do remember that. Jack Malum, man, every single time
Yep.
I
Only
run
this
into
time.
him.
It was he'd filled the entire interior of this illusionist's tower with wasps. So eventually they were so focused on this wall that there had to be something on the other side of the wall. There had to be, because they'd rolled a nat 20 to investigate this wall. Or was it like it was either a
They-
20 or a 1.
Nat
Two
one.
of them
That's
nat
one.
one,
Was
and
it
then
nat
I
one?
nat 20'd it when I got
It was
up
a
there,
nat
so
one
I
for
got like
Bob
a
and nat
40.
one for me.
And I got
And it
Two
was,
nat ones to
Look at this
focus
wall.
on this wall.
it was
Convinced there was something
persuasion.
there.
A persuasion check that I made
yeah,
to convince him.
Yeah, you
look at
know-
the.
you nat
And
20
then a nat
against
20
the
persuasion
guy.
convinced the wizard there is also something on this wall. And eventually you break through the wall and just unleash all of the wasps hiding in the interior of the wall.
Yeah, didn't I decide that I was just sick of them waiting there, so I just punched through the wall or something like that?
Something
Yeah.
like that,
There's nothing there,
That
guys.
sounds like
Punch
something you would do.
wasps.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I dodged
Chris,
them.
do you have a favorite moment?
Which Chris? There's 2 Chris's.
All of
Uh,
them. The
TR.
conglomerate.
if I meant TR, I would have said TR.
For me, as the DM,
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a
favorite
favorite
episode.
moment, or a favorite, moment.
moment.
Because
I always enjoy as a DM whenever I have a good dialogue moment and back and forth with the players and some form of villain. So either the introduction of Tamara Lilith toying around with you in the first introduction is always a good one for me.
The incessant
Or
flirting.
Yeah, or just anything involving the 8th Order Syndicate, because I get to play because the Demonoids just play off so much better I like the god ones. It's always sometimes difficult to introduce villain dialogue when the villain is robotic or a construct or a machine or somebody that doesn't innately have a personality, especially if they can't talk like a T-Rex. So it's always good when there's a human element to it.
I broke the
T-Rex or a
god.
Kraken or-
Yeah.
I break the god, convincing him from a different plane. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm totally from a
And now
different
you must be
plane.
destroyed.
That wasn't
yeah.
a god. That was one of the
Solars.
Solars.
Yeah,
One
you-
of the god's lieutenants.
You really pissed him off.
Well, speaking
yeah.
of your interactions, we were talking about this at the weekend. The rest of you, I think it was was it like a worm creature? That you had the really nasally voice for, and
The Jerry slug-like creature
Yeah.
from one of the
Oh
levels.
yeah,
Right,
I
like-
remember him.
I just remember I could not handle it, and I just lost it for about 10 full minutes, and then you lost it, and that was it for about 20 full minutes of game time. We were just pissing ourselves at just this voice.
'Cause did he not become the new boss of the place or something?
Something happened. I think he got a promotion anyway.
Yeah.
That was pre-stream. Was that back? That was pre-stream, I think.
It was pre-stream, but
Yeah.
while we're still doing it online.
Oh,
You just
I wish I could go back and listen to it.
You just reminded me when we abducted that freaking clerk from the knowledge domain that we decided
Oh.
was named Kevin.
Oh yeah. It was Dave, and we just essentially said it's Kevin.
It's Kevin now, and he went, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, friends. Let's go on an adventure.
Hey, he's still with us. We saved him, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we
You
saved
said
him.
you repaired him at the end. You actually, because he'd gone down, because the solar ooze
explosion.
was trying to drain off him. No, but you guys deliberately pushed yourself using resources to get in front of him
Oh.
and actually save the robot companion.
You must save the companions. It's
We
important.
saved-
Yeah.
We saved Kevin, and I saved the other Solar by just going, you know what, I'm fucked anyway. I'm standing between you. I'm getting hit by this thing instead.
I mean, I'm still surprised that
Charity.
Charity,
none
that's
of us actually died.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. In either campaign, you all survived in both campaigns, which is for tier 4 stuff. It's
Yeah.
very unusual. At least one person. I mean, technically, you did. Well, your
Yeah, technically
clones
did die.
Yeah.
was it?
memory clones of you.
Logan did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Logan
but-
died twice in the campaign.
No complete kills though. None that were permanent. No permadeaths.
Yeah. Because we got
Yeah.
resurrected with money.
Even Junkrat came back.
Yeah.
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 Messed with you all there, didn't I? What about you, TR? Any favorite moments? Oh, it must be hard to pick one with all your zany characters. Like every moment you live is another favorite moment.
I liked in the final when Clack decided to go on to the villain side just to set up a cock punch.
That was awesome.
I very much enjoyed that because the rest of the players just like, the fucking what now?
Yeah, and
I
you
just
rolled a
enjoyed the
nat
moment,
20.
like, yeah.
You rolled a nat 20 deception check, so I was like,
I went,
I'm not sure I believe you.
yeah, the god was unsure, and Leo went, I believe him.
Side effect.
Everyone else was
Good.
unsure.
Sounds legit.
It had very Neville joining Voldemort at the end of Deathly Hallows energy. I expected more than a 2-foot green guy, to be honest. I was hoping for the wizard.
I mean, I know throughout like the epilogues, I was just trying to figure out what was happening when Junkrat started appearing, like sort of a la what's her face in Doctor Who, Madam
Lara.
No, Madam what's her face from Kevorkian or something from the Silence.
Mm-hmm.
When like she'd slide open the door for Amy and close it again. That's what I was imagining was happening with Junkrat as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was that. Yes, you've got me.
Yeah. Sure, let's go with that.
I mean, that's what I was imagining
Copyright.
in my head.
I was Yeah,
I-
was
I-
more.
Yeah, I think I'd figured out fairly early on that we might be in some sort of ooze matrix.
You did actually. You figured it out pretty much after episode 3 or 4, and then you changed your mind because it was
Yeah.
like, oh no, this can't be a news matrix. And then you changed it back
Yeah,
by the end,
I
which was it was good fun. That self doubt.
Mhm.
I was so worried that it was just Junkrat messing with us. It was going to be like Junkrat. Haha, big joke, haha, funny. Because
I
that
did you do this for no reason.
it would have felt so
Anticlimactic.
anticlimactic that we'd gone through all these hardships and all these trails for Junkrat but your big switch up and change of it was just like, oh, that's so much better. And because I was like, I really don't just want Junkrat to be messing with us because that would just feel kind of. I just want to batter Junkrat after that.
Yeah.
Beat him
Like,
to death.
How dare you mess with me
Now
like
you
that
wanna
just to
keep
get the CD? But yeah, the
Got
change
it in the end,
He
though.
got it. He did
Yeah.
get it.
your change and the throwing in of the evil character was just like, oh my god, what the fuck? I did not expect that
I think
because I was very convinced that. Yeah, I've invited my friend to come play with us. He's not going to be an evil guy. He's here to help us.
My last name is literally Bane. That should be a good indicator.
But yeah, it completely fooled me. It was just like I did not expect that. That was a curveball for me, at least.
awesome.
You, to be fair, you were on the track a surprisingly large number of times, and I think I said something every single time that just convinced you, nah, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. I was like, oh, he's catching on, just gonna throw that way, and we're good.
You threw the player off so well, Jamie.
Yeah.
You threw-
I
The
definitely thought
breadcrumbs
for a while
were-
it'd be Mr. Brightside in there somewhere.
Mhm.
Because it made
I-
sense to like insert like a bit of control because he is what he is. So it
Yeah,
made sense. Like, oh yeah, okay, makes sense.
So,
I think you
that's
mentioned
what
that.
I was thinking. I was thinking like Leon potentially being a virus after speaking to Junkrat,
Mhm.
brought on by Brightside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned that, and I went, oh, I like that, and ran with it. And I'll let you believe that. I won't say anything to discourage that. That's
I
what
can
I am.
work with
I'm not
that.
allowed to say. I'm under
Let's-
contract.
Okay, they've found this hidden trail that's clearly an old abandoned trail in the bushes. Let's let them follow that for a while and see how deep it leads them into the thickets. Oh no, they've lost the path.
They've lost the path, and there's a tiger in front of them. Go well.
Yeah.
But then
No.
when like Pizzazz found that Leon was actually a real person,
Mm.
It's your best friend, Leon.
It was an interesting one to try and work in, because I never wanted Brightside to appear because he's very very much a Chris OC, and I don't think I don't think I could have done him justice, and B, there's too many moving parts where Mr. Brightside's concerned. Although I think that certainly Junkrat's ways and means of how he was trying to go about making himself more than he was, and the hive mind thing that he did in the Matrix to clone multiple copies or to hijack the reset button essentially, and try and use the combined knowledge of all your loops and then bring that in on you at the end was definitely inspired by that, because I think from the end of episode 1 of Arc 1 of Dion's Date with Destiny, I had in my mind that sort of final Junkrat confronting Lanwar and saying, "Am I good? Did I do good?" Like that everything was leading up to that moment, and the interaction between all the characters leading up to that point, because I knew, having read, so spoilers if you haven't read the source book, but Dungeon of the Mad Mage is what Headquarters was loosely based on before Chris took it and made it his own. So I knew that there was a colony of mind flayers and an elder brain in it, and I thought, okay, that they could be pretty good enemies at the end. And then when we were in the ooze matrix, when we did the one shot with the ooze matrices, where we went back in time, I thought, okay, time manipulation, ooze matrices, mind flayers, and then where we ended was quite ambiguous, where we were fighting the demonoid monk guys, and there were explosions happening, and I thought, okay, that's a good place to pick up on, and everything just sort of worked its way from there, to be honest. And I'm glad it did. I'm glad that you had that sort of breadcrumb moment of it could be ooze matrices, but could be this other thing. And I'm sure Leon's not a bad guy, but here's this breadcrumb treat.
Because you'd already laid the seed of memory fuckery, like fairly early on. That's why Pizzazz was kind of on board with just accepting Leon. Because as a player, I wasn't sure if this was like a theory that I came up with at one point, that this was just all memories.
In a way, it kind of was, but yeah. For a good while, I thought that maybe they're remembering different sections of the 100 cycles, 1,000 cycles, 100 cycles, whatever it was.
I think it was actually 100 cycles, and and Liam was stupid and thought it was 1,000 because he's dumb. That was his one. It's like, oh yeah, it's been this long. He doesn't keep track of time. He's an idiot.
Yeah, no, time in the bubble was slowed down.
Yeah.
Compared to the outside, or sped up compared to the outside. Whatever.
Sped up, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, I think my favourite was the last episode of the epilogue, with all Pizzazz's thing with Chink.
That was so sweet.
It was.
It was so sweet. I went, I can't not.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I said at the end of that, I was tearing up so many times. Like when Pizzazz found that it had been like 1,000 cycles or 1,000 years, and his sister would probably be long dead by that. He was pissed.
Well, it was 1,000 years. Thought.
Even though gnomes are long lived.
Not that long lived.
Not that long. And he knew, like.
That was your fault, Wolfie.
Hey!
He probably would have blown herself up at some point as well. And then,
this is really chirpy music for she's blew herself up at some point.
Yeah, that was a terrible cut.
Yeah, and then when she turned up, Pizzazz wanted to run over and hug her then. But he was
in
kind
a
of
chair.
dead at the time.
Yeah.
Kind of being possessed and
Unfortunately, I was dead at the time, so
yeah.
It was good fun to have that sort of, because obviously Elder Control's plans changed mid-combat when it was pretty apparent that you were more powerful than originally envisioned. And the crack wasn't widening any further, and the only way to get the crack wide enough that the portal could open fully was to inhabit one of you. He was going to go, or it was going to go, okay, yeah, the intelligence caster, gonna go for them, please and thank you, was in my mind. So
just stay unconscious, you son of a bitch, stop healing it. Bam!
I mean, another thing on that as well was Pizzazz had said to Junkrat about getting Tink to make him a new body. And if it had been 1,000 years, he wouldn't be able to get Tink to do that anymore. So he would technically be breaking his promise to Junkrat. And that was another part of it. I'm just like, fuck's sake, I can't get him back. But you'd thought around that already.
Contingencies.
There was every intention of having it's toying with you, making it seem like it had been so many more years than it actually had been, because it had only been between 2 and 5 years at most. I would
Wow,
say.
Leon's really dumb.
Yeah. I thought you were doing that on purpose.
You told me it was 1,000 years. You actually told me our character takes 1,000 years. So I didn't know.
Time dilation.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. Yeah, it would have been 1,000 years, and in the bubble, you all would have gained the benefits of not aging because of, you know.
Yeah, I fully believed it.
gifts
That's
from
how I
your
could say it
gods.
with such conviction. I thought it was actually 1,000 years, and afterwards when it's like, oh, it's actually been like a couple.
between friends.
It's been a couple of years. It's like, really? Oh wait a minute, no, I can buy that. Why? Leon's got like 6 intelligence. He's dumb as a cabbage. Like with his paladin buffs, he barely had enough like intelligence to have a decent saving throw. And that's with the paladin obscenely high saving throws.
Trying my hardest not to let pizzazz get taken over, and then getting controlled myself for a bit and being on the evil side. That was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think Pizzazz went down like 4 or 5 times during that fight.
It was a good few times, to be honest.
You took all of my spells to keep you back up.
It
Every
took
single one of them.
it took a lot of my abilities to keep you down, to be fair as well.
Yeah.
I also had to open with the smite. I thought I can't, because of all the things that happened in kill score.
Yeah.
I could not start with banishing smite. As an idea, it's like, you know what? Just opening banish. No, bad.
Yeah.
You did not have to smite me as much as you did.
You killed my pet thing.
Yeah.
She attacked me first. It was self-defense.
She didn't. She just dropped you from about 90 feet in the sky.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's why
Yeah, you go,
Pizzazz.
I'm going
like,
to smite him.
Yeah, that's why Pizzazz just fucked off into the sky for a while.
Nope.
I'm not gonna lie. I was literally at the point of, if they actually manage to down me this time, I might actually kill Dion because I've got the free
Yeah.
attack. I might. It's
Yeah,
like,
the relentless endurance.
there's not a terrible odds that I just hit him, crit him, dead.
Yeah.
I can't think off
Must
the
be
top of my
lost.
head about a favourite moment for Dion, but in kill score, I would say my favourite moment with Millig is when he was fighting, I'm sure it was the Lord of the Hunt, and he's on a magic broom, and he kept getting paralysed. And Millig was literally hanging on the broom with his teeth.
Oh yeah, because you forgot how to walk.
He was still up, but he's literally biting onto this broom and still taking punishment.
Yeah, because you just been like mind grabbed by the solar, which made you forget how to use your legs, hadn't you? So you were like, how do I
Yeah.
do this? I've got my hammer in
I
my
got the
hand.
ability to use my legs back. I attacked him and I missed. Like, what?
That fight was hilarious. That was our TPK fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a great fight. I loved it.
Really cemented
Like,
the
why
hate
won't you
between
die?
the party and the lore of the hunt.
Yeah, it was so fun just as a viewer to watch and to listen to, and not be a part of. It was just like, oh my god, I get it.
It also had
I
the
knew how much you guys wanted it.
it also had the most traumatic moment of the entire campaign where the cat got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
that's what
hilarious.
happens when you bring the cat into the combat and start using it to
Heal.
bring people
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how many times people go down in a fight? You all went down about
Yeah.
fucking 10 times each. It was incredible.
We
It was great to watch.
It got to the point where I think people were able to stabilize and get up naturally because because Millig lasted so long, and then I
man.
did the horn,
Oh, yeah, God bless
summoned
him.
all the Valkyries to help.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you
and he
kept
just
making
started blowing
the,
through them.
Yeah, you kept making the con saves as well.
Yeah, for the Beyond Death. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rage, endless rage,
Yeah.
like deathless rage. That was
Jeez, it was incredible.
I get knocked
Incredible.
down, but I got.
It's like, yes!
Leopard was definitely last ditch of I need something to get one of us up at least.
Mm.
He was like, "Get me up. Why? I
Yeah,
can
that
make
was a
this
proper
real
roast
weird
moment.
and give us a couple turns." Gets healed up by the cat, blows the horn, rolls max Valkyries.
Yeah.
We got a couple turns, guys. I love that everyone bought one of those. I think afterwards.
I
as well.
think after that, yeah,
Yeah.
we bought a horn. I don't think I used it though,
No, I bought another one and didn't end up using it.
because that.
Never bought a
No,
horn.
actually, I think I may have used it during the final fight.
I think
Oh,
you did.
You did, but they got nuked by the ice wave.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think they were like there for a turn.
They lasted like a turn or two or
I
something.
think
like
I
that.
was gonna use mine, but it turned out to be no point.
Yeah. There's not much point while those boots were up, to be honest, because they just got annihilated.
If I remember rightly, someone did use a horn, but it changed into something else. There was some weird wild magic, changing magic items into a lower
Oh, it was when
rarity.
the
something
god
like
thing was using its talons when what's his name? The rocker, not Elvis. What's his fucking name? The bard.
that. The rocker, not
Oh,
Elvis.
yeah.
The bard dude, the armored bard. It was when he was there, and it was like items and spells were going weirdly. It was. I
Damn
think
it,
someone
what
might have used one doing that.
Damn it, I forgot his name. Why did I
I
forget?
forgot his name.
Well, he's
Jimmy
dead now.
Ball.
Jimmy. I knew it was something like that. It was Jimmy.
Ball.
Jimmy.
Jimmy Ball, the rock star bard who turned into
Rocking
what
Ballad.
was his full title? Or
Was
his
it Kill-
transformation?
Blood Killer, something like that.
No, it was
That's an awesome title. I also alley
yes. He turned when you defeated him, his soul exploded, as all demonoid souls do upon death. For after all, they are the heavily prejudiced, like from the gods, who will torture them for eternity. So they decide to truly die instead, transforming into a demon of equatable power to however much power they had in real life. No, he transformed into the Balor Knight, Lord of the Power Ballad,
That was it.
That's it.
with
And
a two-thong guitar sword.
And I
And that
stomped
was
on his head
Pizzazz'
to
fault.
jump across the arena.
Zaz got
onto
that
it.
final blow in to turn him.
And
I
Yep.
didn't successfully hit him, so I think I'm scot free.
All because Blackstar convinced Jimmy Bell to jump in the car and drive for her.
She tried to charm him, and he just went,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm immune to charms, but fuck it, why not?"
Because unbeknownst to Blackstar at the time,
Fancy a drink?
Yeah,
he was a very powerful paladin bard who had immunity to charm.
yeah. I was playing her as very drunk, and
You can tell.
I genuinely didn't. I wanted to be there for the following episode for her waking up and hangover, because I had this scene in mind of all her regrets coming out. Probably again to Nana Muffins and probably Millig, because she seems to survive and outlast and outlive everyone she loves, and what's the point if the world's because she's just seen what the time stream that was split into 4, I think it was, Chris, and there's 4 possible endings if I remember.
Yes,
rightly.
the gods are incredibly paranoid right now and are working overtime, as
Wonder
all
why.
of the prophecies are indicating that the time of the gods is coming to an end. And
Yeah.
no matter what they do, the time stream keeps switching between 4 prophecies as to how the gods die.
Yeah, because she's desperately trying to stop one apocalypse, and yet there are 3 more waiting in the wings. Even if she does succeed in stopping,
She just switches them instead.
yeah, exactly. So I made the decision of, you know what? What's the point? I went full bore Loki with it and went, oh god, if this is how it's going to be, then what's the point? But I wanted the would have quite liked the scene of her sort of waking up with this drastically awful hangover, and
Do a one shot as that at some point.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
while we're fighting,
Yeah.
while we're fighting,
So-
she teleports. She like
That
realm
would've
hops,
killed
and then
her.
just passes out somewhere. And then it's like,
Yeah.
while we were fighting this godly beast that was trying to destroy everything, this is what the other character was doing.
Yeah, I did fancy that, and obviously when you saw her at the end of Headquarters, she'd already crossed off Lord of the Hunt's name from her list. So,
Grognard does not get to go smash in face.
yeah. Well, no,
mean,
it's
he might.
you don't know the story of how it went. That's a future one shot waiting to happen right there. You know, whether I run it or Chris runs it or whoever runs it. I did want to work in though that the next time she appeared, she was a little bit more like she had sort of been rejuvenated or something, had continued on her goal of, and whether that
She'd
whether
been
that
to
involves
therapy.
paladin levels or she's done something. She's spoken to someone. Yeah, she's spoken to someone because everyone she's ever loved has died. So, like having her appear and be in all the Alterra is kind of cathartic as a story mechanism to drive at least one of the timelines forward anyway. So,
Nope, you're not getting the stone.
just wait.
Well, Landworth feels like he
Look at
has
the
to
fingers.
protect that now. He's taking over Willow's sort of guardianship of it. That's the main reason I figured he wasn't going to give it up quite so easily.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, but yeah, she obviously doesn't need to return to Sigil. She can. She can get back portal wise, but enough about Blackstar. That's future campaign stuff.
But if she can identify a portal and not piss off whoever's guarding it, she can go back. Because remember,
Yeah.
Sigil can't be teleported or plane shifted into it. You need to use a Sigil portal to get into it.
Yeah,
Which
but
You need to go
good
past
thing
the
she
toll
knows
booth.
Jack Malum. She knows Jack Malum and Rainbow, who has both of Malum's keys.
Rainbow, who stole her uncle's keys.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, but this is how she actually got into Headquarters in the first place. She knows Rainbow, and since Rainbow's trying to bring back Oberon, and so is Blackstar, there's a mutual
They're willing
help
to
me
work
out
together.
kind of thing, get me there, and then she obviously Rainbow knows Bragg, and yeah, so
And
planes
currently,
hopping.
Rainbow is hiding from a few of us.
yeah. So that was how come she turned up in the final.
Like Rainbow.
1 out of what, 5 so far? Then so it's one character out of all of the other characters likes them. All the
That
others
was a
hate
Friday
them.
session.
Speaking of characters you liked and disliked, I have a list of a bunch of NPCs that y'all met during your travels. Some of which you saw once, some of which you.
Nobody said there was going to be a memory test.
No. It's
Hey,
not
I'm
really-
gonna win this
Couldn't
one
go in a
easily.
tiny-
Do you remember having your own little?
Yeah, neon.
Neon, I'm saying
Neon.
Neon.
Character
New
copyright.
character.
I'm gonna play as Neon, a character named Neon next time.
They're a glamour
Already-
bard.
the
They're a glamour
tabaxi.
bard.
Tabaxi Ranger.
Although I did play as Neo. No, I was no, whatever. Yeah. So were there any? So you have Dangleberry the Imp, Neil, who was your familiar, who essentially
Yeah,
lugged all
I
your
thought it was
equipment
just
around.
for that
We
one
saw him in
session.
episode 1. We saw him in episode 1. Didn't see him again. At
No,
all.
he followed the wrong set of owls.
He did the wrong set of owls, and he was there when the thing imploded. We also had Ricky the raccoon. We had an awakened
Yeah.
Ossiod that Glack actually got a few scrolls and a diamond from. Yeah.
And
These
awakened,
diamonds.
you had
Single
you
bomb.
essentially had a sentient bin. Essentially,
Yeah.
that's basically what.
Yeah.
That's basically what Artiog is. It's a bin with feet.
Yeah. So Willow.
One like enemy that I'm surprised you didn't bring back was the Weeping Angels.
Oh, I hate those things.
Interestingly enough, they were in the. So you know how you guys went into the Mind Flayer lair via the back door, via the Flumph entrance, and into the museum of all your times together. Yeah, the Flump entrance, the
I
Zen
love
guy.
that's its name. It's the Flump entrance. It's not the Zen guy. It's the Flump entrance.
Fine. But essentially, that was one entrance you could have taken. You could have gone in via the labs, the experiment labs, where the mind flayers were essentially. So in Primeval Series 2, if anyone's seen that show,
A long time ago.
They go to the different time periods and kidnap some of the monsters. So what the mind flayers had done was they actually had an undead Garestro. They had a couple of weeping angels. They had a few of each of the Sorrow Swarm that you guys ran into. And one of the options, had you navigated that entrance instead of the Flump entrance, you could have unlocked all the cages and set them loose inside the complex instead. That was entirely an option.
I think I steered us away
But
from
yeah,
that.
That would
you
have made
guys,
things interesting.
yeah, it would have been. But yeah, they were absolutely there. It just didn't come up. You just didn't go that way.
I think they were thinking
they
of
were
going
a
that
fun
way, and I
end.
said we go the other way.
Yeah, they were a very fun enemy to have though, and oh man, the fact that they appeared and Alex immediately went up to the statues by himself. I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Arcanite.
Get the chameleons out.
Yeah, purple Arcanite statues, okay. Because obviously Chris time locked time Arcanite. It was good fun. Anyway, triggered the trap, started running away, and then Bob summons a bunch of king geckos, and they're just looking at the statues the entire time. And I'm like, okay, well the statues now can't chase you through the maze, so I guess I'll have the Garestro reappear again.
There's an
giant
arm
undead
there.
demon.
Yeah, but that was it was entirely an option. You could have run into them again.
I'm glad I didn't. I hate whipping angels.
They were
Liam would
quite
be like,
scary.
fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
This shit I'm out.
I've forgotten the question.
Yeah,
It's that.
you're saying
Favourite character?
NPCs, you Ricky the Raccoon and
Oh yes, there was a bunch of others.
NPCs.
Bunch of other NPCs. I was just wondering if anyone had any NPCs that were their favorite, or anyone that just they immediately wanted to go, "You die now," kind of thing.
Captain Jack the Gith was pretty great.
Captain Jack, yeah, okay.
I liked him. I also like the trash compactor that essentially Bob jumped into to chase down an illusion that I threw a rock at. I like that one. Does that count as an NPC, a trap?
I'll allow it.
I really like.
Yeah, it was mostly because my head had been messed with beforehand. Them convincing they had annihilated my grove and killed my friend, the dragon. My character spent so much time in the previous things of establishing this whole backstory sort of thing of army of guys to go attack the abyss. We'd done the whole bit of turning the dragon permanently good so we could get the sword for you and your other campaign and it was just like Lanwar would take that to heart and be extremely mad and angry and upset that all his work for and all his allies, all his friends, all his time spent making this grove and making this place to go help something else, because he was doing it to try and either
It's to rescue.
liberate Brightside Towers or rescue that also became rescue Yellow Arcanite, which in the other campaign we've damaged the fingers.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
He chopped
Landwar
off
is
one and a half.
8th Pantheon God, the first of more to come of the new gods.
Yep, we've chopped off 2 of its fingers now, so.
Landwar has been set on the course to save them by their silver Arcanite, I believe.
Copper,
It's
Copper.
Copper.
Yeah,
ring.
copper.
which is
I've said it
what makes
before
up
to
the
Chris.
body of Sigil.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've said it before to Chris. I'll say it again. Crisis on Infinite Alterras. Let's make it a thing.
Yeah, because Landwar is still determined to do that. He's got the fake Arcanite spiders that
You
he's
got your
given
crystalline spiders.
giving
Yeah.
a giving the purpose to, and basically Landmore is just taking on the responsibility, trying to save everyone for some reason now. He's just like, I gotta save this place. I've taken over with getting the Grove key and taking over the Grove. He feels more responsible and kind of wants to do everything he can to help. And
that was one of the potential campaign ideas, which I could have pitched. But I really like the idea of going away a little bit to like an alternative Alterra, and then coming back.
And
Alterra.
I love that. Also, there's just there's now a giant nail salon in Land Wars domain as well, and just like because I was like, well, that's one of the components, and Land Wars gonna try and get those components for these potions and things like that. And how else are you gonna get a giant to willingly come along and get their toenails clipped or their fingernails clipped so he can use it in a potion?
I really like the part in the epilogue because I got where it's like Leon's waking up in wherever the fuck your domain is, and I can just imagine from like the point of view of what he is as a character going, what the hell? What? Where am I? Just being so confused. It's like as far away from what he normally sees as physically possible.
Random tree just is wrapping your leg in bandages, and a green dragon's nearby just snorting.
It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, like Tyria Light was good fun to RP out.
Yeah, like level 5 has got so much going on in it. It's just like the 3 druid groves, the 100 tree things, and 5 sort of generals, land tree, land shrub, and all those ones. Plus
land succulent.
It was just I found that spell and I kind of ran with it and kept on working on it and kept on poking Chris and going, "Can I make another few?" And because the currency was allowed me soul shards had a price value to them. It gave me that money to make the actual more and more characters in there, and I love the characters being in the background. It's just that there is this place that we can go back to and we can grab an army to go fight another army, and they could just be something as distraction to allow us to focus our path down something else, like take on the bigger, badder enemies whilst my small army takes on the things. And
it genuinely reminded me of a story that a friend of mine had in a campaign. It was a custom complete custom rule set they were doing. It was a system they called Inertia. Where in one of their things they've got like this character type, which it's kind of semi-sci-fi, but it had magic and stuff as well. They had this one character type that eventually was basically like an Uber Necromancer that when it got to the top tier of Uber Necromancer could literally just make armies, and they got like patroned by the god of death. So they had to go into this, like, there was this huge starship full of enemies. There was just a shit ton of them, and it was like, you have to stop this, but it's completely full, you're massively outnumbered, there's not really a lot you can do, but this thing needs to stop. How are you going to do it? And he went, well, I'm going to summon an army of the undead in the ship. And the GM had to do a calculation on how many could they actually summon at one time, and they went, yeah, you win that by sheer weight of numbers, because the army of the undead is 10 times the size of the crew. So they just...
And an oath was fulfilled.
Yeah, so what did you fill it with? Bodies. Was their lines, essentially. They filled the ship with bodies. That's how they won.
I mean, Pizzazz did have a bunch of undead, like in like crypt.
That's the bane of every GM. Fucking summonable creatures. Keeping track of those fucking ghouls and all your owls, Bob. Oh my god. I wanted to reach through the screen and just kill your characters myself.
I mean, I only brought my ghouls in for my one.
Mhm.
To be honest, they didn't last long,
Nah,
but
they did
Oh,
help though.
Be right back.
yeah, they did help.
Mm.
Some of our creatures are always a pain in the ass to GM.
Mhm.
I've found.
And then what was it that I summoned in the last one? It was
Bun-
Undead Spirit.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the rotting corpse
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you mean. The one that gave like
the
disadvantage.
sticky thing.
Yeah.
The sticky corpse.
Yeah, I
There
remember.
what was his name? Bob.
It was like Jerry.
Summon.
We named it like Jerry or something like that.
I can't remember.
The skeleton.
Yeah.
In
Oh
terms,
yeah, my skelly man. Yeah,
Skellington.
man.
Yeah.
I turned him from an enemy to like be on our side.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the one.
that was
Did you not call him Bob?
it was a
I think-
bone claw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bone
A
Claw.
bone claw,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah, no, I failed. I rolled like a 2 on the save,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I was under his control.
Hmm.
But even so, it was like, oh god, how do I do? Like, I don't want to keep control of this. So I decided from then on, okay, going forward, going forward, I'll just make it so that if you want to use them in combat, you can, but they will be cannon fodder basically, or you can have them not cooperate in combat, much like leopard print thong.
Is that what you waiting for? I was like, I don't know.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for.
Better late than never.
Yeah,
He was just like a character to use.
buffering.
It was a character that I got to terrorize you with. Was more than was anything else. Really got
They were
along
there.
with my character somehow.
He was used for sort of clutch things or allow you for comical stuff in the
he
background.
was basically our metagame pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very fun. He was...
A moment I liked on your epilogues, James, is when we were fighting Willow. You know, when she
Yeah?
turned evil and we found her. With the baby god in the tree.
Yes, the heartbroken.
Yeah. I tied against them
The fight
to
against them.
attack Willow.
Mhm.
And because I hadn't attacked Willow or Willow hadn't attacked me, he had advantage on Willow.
Yeah. There's I can't remember the
I
exact.
like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact Sorrow Sworn, but the Heartbroken had disadvantage on creatures that had attacked it because it's heartbroken by the fact that it's been attacked, and it had advantage on creatures that hadn't attacked it. So it was like it attacks you with disadvantage. Oh,
Look,
no,
I stand against the tides.
I redirect it towards Willow, and he has advantage,
Yeah.
and he hits, and she's grappled and restrained. Okay, it's time to whip out the Yu-Gi-Oh merging with the winged dragon scenario, and I just thought, yeah, you know what, that's how she goes.
Wing dragon over.
But you know, her transformation to evil was seeded even in, I think it was episode 1 or 2 when you met Ricky the Awakened Raccoon, because he actually mentioned that Willow awakened him and just left him amongst the garbage.
To do away.
Yeah, pretty much. That was her experiment. That was part 1 of her experiment to take control, basically. So the breadcrumbs were all there. But yeah, anyone else have any NPCs? I love. They're obviously not an NPC, but I think TR made just a throwaway line in one of the episodes of one of your land clones goes out on the pool at night dressed up in drag or something. I just love that, and I'm
yeah.
like, okay.
Oh, why
Where
not?
this is going. I love it. Let's see where it goes. And just the wee interaction there. I loved it. Sorry.
Also made sense.
I
The
did love.
sauna scene, because I watched that episode because that was the one before.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the one before I was cameoing, so I need to know some context of what the hell I'm walking into here. And the sauna just was like, right, how am I
That's what
supposed
you
to
were
deal with this
walking into.
character? I'm not gonna lie, I don't
yeah.
know how I'm going to interact with this character, but I'll roll with it.
I mean, how much like brag lore did Glack make up?
Yeah,
everything.
that's what I'd like to know.
All of it. Sounds bad.
Like,
He once
the-
killed
the
a man by
private-
looking at
Brag's
him.
water in his gym.
Yeah,
You know, his private stash of water.
the flavored water with like the lemons and limes in it.
Yeah,
It's the freaking-
a lot of it was just TR, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not?
Makes sense.
It's the
He's-
freaking
he's-
Stig.
Yeah,
Some
he's
say
he's got a hidden stash of candy bars in his desk that Bragg didn't know about. Oh, cool, Bragg just found them.
Yeah.
Great, now he knows about them. Great, cool,
some
fantastic.
Some say he sucks the moisture from ducks, and that kind of thing is what I was expecting. Some say he can look at some say he can only okay, like Stig and like the manapede at LARP, if Bob remembers. There's those stories. It's like some say it can see very well in the day, but also at night. And some says it has wings, but others say it crawls on the ground. And others say that it walks upright like a man. It's just that kind of shit. That's what I'm expecting. Like, if you were to, if I wanted to see just a one shot,
That
it's
is
just
so.
like describing Greg for the entire hour or so. I just want to
That is-
see that. Just see what he comes up with.
Maybe that's a framing device, and we could just change Bragg as
Yeah.
he fights. Some say he was
have to
50
ask.
foot tall. Wait,
Yeah.
what? And he just grows and fights the
Right.
dragon.
Bang!
Yeah,
So, in your mind, with like the sauna and like the water and that, was it actually a sauna or was it like a airing cupboard, or was it actually
It was
like
Brag's locker.
yeah?
Oh God!
Was it actually like a bottle of water, or was it the like a urinal that sometimes people just throw fruit into?
No, I assume that there would be like a private sauna somewhere,
Hot
Like-
room.
just like in the manager's office of the bag, just like private sauna, and that's where he breaks into. Because why would you not?
we did have an.
Because somebody will invade your dreams.
We did also have an episode where we made Bragg into his ultimate form and everyone into their ultimate form because I took control of the dream
Yeah.
and says, "Everyone have your ultimate form, go!"
Yeah.
Oh,
That episode actually shaped a lot of the final, because I was still struggling with the final arc, Junkrat's arc of you guys escaping the Ooze Matrix, and the ultimate rules that were in it, and that actually helped shape a lot of what the ultimate rules were. That there were these devices that can manipulate the time, and you could manipulate dreams while you were in them. And I thought, okay, going forward, if they try and do this, and this, while they're in this dream, this Ooze Matrix thing, maybe this will happen, and that'll drop more hints. And occasionally there were those moments, but you sadly just sort of brush them off as, okay, that's weird.
that's weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
So how many like plot drops did you put out that we just ignored or just brushed off?
Those are too many to say.
I'm gonna be honest.
How dumb are we?
In
There were never any explicit plot drops. There were always like the vaguest breadcrumbs. So at the end of Dion's arc was the first one where
evil music started.
Junkrat pokes his way through a box essentially in Ziraj's warehouse in the center of the maze, and it sort of acts like the green zeros and ones looking thing. That was like the first clue that he was poking his way through through a virtual world of some kind, because I knew that there was going to be that room at the end of his arc that he was sort of staying in. I already knew that, but that I guess was clue one. About his ultimate sort of thing.
Yeah, that was the first clue that made me feel like Junkrat was messing with us, and I was like, "Oh, please don't say he's messing with us." I was like, if he's
Because
messing
was
with,
coming out at the end, the very end of the epilogue.
Because I
If
think
you-
that's where I
like,
came
He's
up.
screwing with us.
Yeah,
He
I
could
think that's where I
help
came up
us.
with the Matrix stuff.
Yeah, but like I said, in Arc 2, small changes can go unnoticed and don't trigger the time loops. which would have obviously alerted the mind flayers to his presence, baby.
The music change.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah,
How
so
close
small
was
things will change.
Lan to breaking that? Because you mentioned that Lan was so close to breaking that time loop when
He was-
we did that episode.
Oh no, he was more close to getting what I was putting down. Basically, he was close to
Yeah, alright.
understanding, and he was like, oh, no, I just didn't get it.
And Zaz
Yeah.
went out and started fireballing everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much, if Junkrat had to, like, he realized pretty early on in his mind palace thing that if he went out and started saving you guys, that the mind flayers would go, yeah, a little glitch, turn off and turn back on again. So he had to be subtle and like move through the boxes and say, Dion, here's a back door, or here's a small button, Black, to blow up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gym, global gym, essentially, because it always exploded. It was just giving you that little, I'm here. Here's a button.
Yeah,
Because this is how it actually because that's how it actually happened in real life. In the first, wasn't even a loop, but it was in the
in the dream, wasn't that a thing that we talked about when making Leon? It's like he's supposed to be too good to be true. That was like part of the idea for how he looked, which is like his glowing golden paladin, shining armor, in a literally halo of light. He was supposed to look a little bit too good, essentially. That was the point for it.
I mean,
'Cause he
I
didn't have
could be
this.
wrong here, but if I remember correctly, was it not Bob that was so adamant to save Leon
Yeah.
when at the end when we met him?
I'll hold up my hand and
We've got to save Leon. He's our friend.
I mean,
Let
I
me-
think it was
But is he?
between Lan and Pizzazz.
let me hold my hand up here and say that it was we had invited a friend. He was sitting in the wings, and I was like pushing it forward because I was like, I don't want to have him come and have guest star
Just wait
and
for
waste these
nothing.
and wait for nothing. So I admit, as a player, I was pushing it a bit forward
Yeah.
and trying to hurry the story on to get him in,
yeah.
not knowing that he was going to
Evil
be evil. But
Hey,
it
I was good until you did what I wanted you to do, and then I'd be evil.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
yeah. The second you were gonna insert the virus, he was like, no, though.
I don't think so.
Stab in the back.
Smite in the back.
So- So if we hadn't have like freed Leon from the Deus Matrix, would it would just ended?
That
when we
would have
plugged
screwed
in the
everything up.
reactor?
No, I didn't need to think about that. I had a whole episode to think about. Okay, they don't rescue him. What happens? But I knew you were going to rescue him. It barely crossed my
You
mind.
could see it in our hearts.
It's
thing
in
is
your
that-
hearts. And also, I did like largely break out on my own because I wasn't on the
Yeah.
same system as the others,
Yeah.
which is why mine was off in the corner. I could just
Yeah.
have opened
Yeah,
it at
but-
any point, essentially.
I think he would have
But we
came
didn't
in.
have the knee-jerk reaction of, shit, attack him.
Yeah.
We don't know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we hadn't saved him, we probably would have he would have ended up there some point, and you'd
Yeah,
have to fight him or something. and
yeah. Elder
save-
Control would have been like, come forth.
Arise, my
Wait a
champion.
Yeah, arise, champion, and defend me.
Yeah.
That would have been it. Easy as pie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go in a couple of minutes, but just before I go, can I ask James? Did you always plan to bring in like Black Star into the finale, or did Glack trying to speak to Bragg give you that idea?
I honestly didn't have her appear. It was only when you cast Commune and said, "Can you send help?" I thought, okay, who would come though? I obviously want Mary to be there because he said Mary, and you know, like this is your god. You're asking help.
And he's gone.
Oh, and he's gone.
Oh,
This
and
is God
he's
you're
gone.
asking, and God struck him down.
God went.
Disappeared.
God said no.
No answers for you,
Oh dear.
mortal.
Yeah, Yeah, no. So basically, you were like, "Oh yeah, can you send someone? Here is chocolate. Here is a sacrifice." And I'm like, "Okay, this little voice. Maybe I should send help. I'm a good guy after all. Like, yeah, I should probably help someone. And after all this chocolate." And he was like, "Okay, Mary, you can go. If Pizzazz is there, I should probably let his sister know that I found him, and Pizzazz will bring that cat creature who's the head of the security of their factory. And I'm owed a favor from this elf woman, so she can go as well." But no, genuinely, I wasn't going to have a Bragg reappear. Like if anyone had cast sending to anyone, it would have gone through, and he probably would have sent Mary at most. But when you said send help, we're stuck here, I'm like, okay, all right, let's try it, and it could be a good way to link the two campaigns together, and it did, and perfect. There we go. Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I was half expecting, because I think if anyone was watching my camera on that particular one, I was looking at my other screen, looking at Discord, because I was half expecting message saying, "Are you cool with Leon, with Lolkin showing up with the Kill Skull Mercenary people?" I was like, they're gonna send us to help us out of this.
I wanted to, but I thought I can't justify Bragg knowing them in particular. It's a stretch that he even knew Blackstar.
Oh, okay.
But,
I assumed
but she does mention that she has you guys on retainer and you killed the Lord of the Hunt together, so...
we get our divine artifacts that we still have to build.
Yeah.
Which I think I sent mine actually off. I didn't know.
Yeah, when Tink appeared, I did like straight away bring up her character sheet.
Divine weapons.
Hey, mine's a divine chess piece. Over the top of my armor.
Before then we end. It's been pretty close to 2 hours now, and it's been a decent chat. I've been talking a lot. Chris hasn't been nearly as interesting as me in dropping, although
He's been building his D&D.
although the
I've had
tendency
things
has
where
been
he
He's
did.
going to kill us on
Yeah.
session 1.
Anyone have any questions for Chris or myself or anyone else? I open up the floor at this point pretty much to anyone asking anyone else any questions.
Well, I didn't get my chance to say my favorite scene. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you did.
but I will say my favorite scene probably was from Chris's one was definitely the dwarf arm wrestling.
That was great. That was
Too many
awesome.
20s.
It's a very good scene where it's just shockwaves emanate. I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat.
This is how you do it, Pizzazz.
That was such an amped up moment and sort of back and forth and just character reaction with a GM reaction and just sort of epic sort of
moderate between the dwarves and the Goliath.
yeah,
I really
back and forth.
Sorry, he's a good guy. He's alright.
He's alright
Go
this one.
inside.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
to the door.
that was definitely
We'll
one
call
of the,
you.
that was my Chris moment of that was epic. Good interaction between the GM and the character, and for mine, I'd have to say the end scene with Junkrat and all that final wrapping up of that final arc. Every character having this sort of good moment and rapport. Even the Leon being sort of brung into the fray in a little bit, but not entirely trusted, but enough redemption and
Yeah.
I genuinely thought you guys were going to leave me bleeding out in an alleyway. I'm not going to lie. When we teleported away and you all just walked off, I went, are they just going to leave him?
No.
Are they just leaving me
Beyond
just
the
in the
minds.
gutter,
But-
bleeding out?
I will say
Where he belongs.
I'm not always a fan of the happy. Oh, look at this! It's a happy ending. Everyone survived. All this, that, and the other. Elder Adrak died. He was decapitated by Negabrag. No one weeps for Elder Adrak. No one. Not a person.
Hey,
Not even Chris
Not
who
in
created
public
him.
anyway.
No.
Behind closed
There's
doors.
also, to be fair, until like the moment that I think it was Tink and Pizzazz hugged, I wasn't gonna have Leon be a good guy at all. He was gonna go completely evil, and I just went, No, he'd actually react to that. If anything, that's the one thing that would crack him, actually.
Yeah.
And insanely high passive perception of one word to see that and go, yeah, there's maybe some redeemable quality in him.
There's one.
I'm gonna
It was
spare him.
your Anakin Skywalker moment.
Yeah.
Spare him and bring
There's
him
still
along
some
for
good in him.
Yeah.
It's the Anakin Skywalker moment where he runs himself through at the end of the movie. Everyone, why did you do that?
It was
Well, he took his
gen-
mask off, but just killed him.
Edge! Bam!
it was genuinely some good sort of player wrap up reactions between everyone, and sort of tied that story up nicely at the end. And it did genuinely get to me a little bit near the end there, with all the different reactions between like Tink and me and Junkrat. It just was like, oh, that's really awesome and cool.
I think the character arcs over, because we've been playing now for over a year, almost a year and a half by the time of recording, and because we were on and off and schedules and a weird pandemic thing that seemed to have happened.
Yeah, weird thing that.
This weird thing where people went outside and coughed into other people's faces.
Nurgle decided he wanted to party, and
but yeah, it was. It did wrap it up as a happy ending, and did, I guess, achieve what I had hoped to achieve when
Rocks and yub-nubs and...
there were no yub-nubs.
There was yub-nubs, confusion, getting
Yub-nubs are plenty.
berated.
Oh damn, we will change it again.
And we actually
You must have changed yub-nubs and he ran.
You can't handle the yub-nub!
As I'm
So
getting
everybody,
calls.
yub-nub.
See ya.
Yub-nub everyone.
Yub-nub.
Until, so we will all be back at some point in the future, at some future Friday or Tuesday. But until then, TR's already said goodbye. Chris, any final remarks?
Yeah, we've already got the next campaign in the works for this Friday. In order to mess with James when they inevitably show up on the Friday, there are 6 new Arcanites.
6 new Arcanites? 6! As many as 6! 6!
Alternate version.
Well, you know, the campaign's current plot is during a battle with a tier 2 villain, the party has ended up erupting the shenanigan and is, well, James has just gone already.
Nope.
I'll be
He's already given up!
Has thrown the party into an alternative reality,
No more
into
Arcanite.
the shattered alt sphere. So yes, I will most likely have that done by Friday already, as I've already created 6 new Arcanites, already planned a dozen different side objectives and possibilities into the environment, already come up with the major factions. We're good to go, I just need to make the maps now.
I need to change my character from one Roll20 game to the other because I built it in Killscore going, I can't be asked to program all this myself, I'm just going to put it all in Killscore and I'll do it later onto the actual one.
But I will talk more about specifics with players after we finish up the stream.
Yeah.
So yes, look forward to that. In theory, we're streaming that, assuming everyone still wants to.
I'm down
Yeah.
to stream it if you guys
Yeah,
are
I'm
cool
cool with it.
But that is Alterra, a future session. This has been Alterra Altalka. I've been James Robertson. I've been surrounded by these lovely people. Go out and play outside. It was
Just go out.
yeah.
No, don't go outside, there are lorries out
Beautiful
there!
day today.
Don't go outside, there are trucks out there!
Go outside to a park maybe and spend some time in the fresh air and do your own adventures and all that sort of thing and hang out with friends but not too close. Not too close.
Social distance.
Social distance.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
this has been the discussion, Alterra All Talk Episode 1, discussing Headquarters of the Mad Capitalist and Killscore Mercenaries. Thank you, Ben, Neil, TR,
worries.
everyone. Chris, you've been amazing. Good night.
Good
Now
night!
roll initiative!
Roll this shit, motherfuckers!
Yep, no.
Yup, nub! Yup, nub!
Cannon now, James.
I really do have to go
Yeah.
now because
See ya.
I'm getting calls. This has been great. See you next time, yeah?
See ya.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Love you guys.
Bye.
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 Do you actually want
Do
him to
you
stop
have
being
any
live,
rap?
bro?
Yeah.
You have any wrapping up words you'd like to say, Chris? As the other GM, the first GM we ran
No, I
with,
think this was
The
good.
one
No.
above all.
the one
No, I'm
above
good.
all.
Most of the things I have discussed is future campaign stuff for Friday, so we're
Okay.
good to end there.
Cool.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
So yeah, thanks for inviting me to this. I suppose because this was a lot of fun
Yeah.
to do. Thank you guys very much for watching. Yep, this will be on. So the Alterra will be on 6 p.m. I'm assuming. Friday.
That's what I assume
The
same
usual
time
time?
as last time. Yeah.
So it will be at 6 p.m. Friday. There will be this stream added onto mine because since we're actually starting the campaign, if you guys are cool with it, I'll stream it as well. The whole thing.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably figure out if we're actually going to use the Alterra stream at some point and
I mean,
just
it probably makes sense.
yeah, I have to go figure things out and speak to Bob and Dane
We
here as
gotta
to
do
how to.
stuff.
You just,
it's a
I
lot
can
easier
do-
than you think.
I can do it easy enough. You just
Yeah.
need to, you just need to give me the streaming code, and I can put it into my thing.
Yeah.
I just
nice.
need to remember to switch mines back after
Yeah.
words.
It's a pain,
Yeah.
but it works.
Cool.
Fairly
Anything
straightforward.
that requires me to do less work, I'm more than happy.
Yeah, I'm doing mine on my stream. I'm not changing mine. I have to stream a lot more than Bob. So
Yeah. The only thing you're gonna have to do is put all the titling stuff on your side. I can host it easy enough.
Yeah.
Well, I can stream it from my
and yeah,
computer.
I will. I'll do a. Actually, no, 'cause it's gonna be at the same time. I will put it on the host list anyway for mine. So if I'm ever not there for whatever reason, it'll show up on my stream anyway as well. So. But yes, thank you everyone very much for watching. Have a fantastic evening, every single one of you. Keep playing the games, keep being awesome. You guys are the best players on Twitch. And I'll be back tomorrow with Genshin Impact. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. This was Alterra. I've called it Alterra Talks, honestly, because I couldn't be
Same.
asked to change the title. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Good night!
Bye.
Bye.